Hey everybody, Brian Von VA here, back at it again, this time with something that everybody I think might get some inspiration from. What's your idea for your next character? Walter Dragon Good. I got the name from a YouTube channel called Game Grumps when they played Skyward Sword, and Dan accidentally called the water dragon. A dragonborn paladin, he is the firstborn of a royal family. But due to the kingdom being a matriarchy, his 5-year-old sister isn't next in line for the throne. But he doesn't care about that. He loves his sister and calls her his little treasure. At 23, he was sent off to train to protect his sister. He is the group's dad, and whenever he sees something he thinks his sister would like, he gets it for her as a gift. And at night, he writes in his journal so his sister can read all about his adventures. Ooh, a fellow Game Grumps fan. I'm going to be joining a campaign within the next 2 weeks, with a gunslinger tiefling, specifically starting at level 1, but I plan to pick high roller at level 3. We talking Valda's Spire of Secrets gunslinger, by the way, named Loth Jose. I can't go into detail about the backstory, as I know some of the players often look through my Reddit account, so I'll talk about a funny coincidence that happened as I was designing his appearance. Originally, as you might be able to tell from the name, Loth was inspired by Revolver Ocelot, the Metal Gear Solid 3 version specifically, and was meant to mostly be a cocky young lad. Was even gonna make him a tabaxi. But I figured out a cooler backstory, and I ended up changing his design a bit. Made him a tiefling, gave him a bluish-gray skin and light gray medium-length hair, as well as orange sunglasses. And he's a gunslinger. That's when I realized I, accidentally redesigned Happy Chaos from Guilty Gear. So I toned down the smug, chaotic aspects of him and went for a more charismatic, scary, but actually pretty klutzy and goofy vibe. I replaced his white medium-length hair with an ashy blonde undercut. Decided to shift a bit away from the edginess by making his coat red too. I was this close to giving him a mechanical arm when I realized I turned him into Vash the Stampede from Trigun, the modern version specifically. At this point, I just decided to embrace it, ended up giving him a similar tattoo to Happy Chaos's, and even gave him the chef feat so I can justify some backstory stuff and make it vaguely Way of the House Husband. Fantastic manga, by the way. Go read it. It's about an ex-Yakuza boss giving up the criminal life to become his wife's house husband. And still looking incredibly threatening while doing the most mundane, adorable stuff ever. While I haven't gone for the mechanical arm, if you know that reference, I will give you 1,000 million hugs. I have talked with the DM, and it would be possible to have mechanical arms like that in this world, so we'll see if fate cuts off my arm. TLDR. Accidentally recreated a flamboyant triple agent spy, a gunslinging magical demon god, a klutzy mysterious Tumblr sexy man, and an ex-Yakuza turned house husband. Then decided to just embrace it and mix them all into one. Loth Jose, the klutzy but vaguely threatening tiefling gunslinger with a criminal past. Middle-aged halfling fighter Rune Knight Barnaba was a military since he could lie about his age. As a small guy, he could have either been pushed around by everyone or risen above. Officially, his rank is Drill Sergeant. About a 90 centimeter, that's just short of 3 feet for you Yanks, Drill Sergeant with magnificent mustache and hammer he is using as a two-handed weapon. One day, his squad gets wiped out by a demon when some mage lost control of the summon. Cured from a near death by a cleric, he becomes super religious and develops hate for wizards who meddle with powers they shouldn't touch. He also decides to learn ways to get some edge against enemies that normal warrior can't touch. Spends all of his savings for a druid to regrow his leg lost in battle and learns the runes of giants from an old Goliath. Now he goes back to mercenary work to recover his retirement found. And all that came because I love the idea of a halfling using the Giant's Might rune, which changes his size to large. So basically this tiny guy with silly mustache and glass eye can grow about 4 times his size when you annoy him. Auto Gnome Assassin Roger. His name is Point Blank. He works as an emotionalist for hire assassin, and he specializes in stealthily killing his targets by any means necessary. Whether daggers, short sword, or short bow, he has never failed a target due to his keen mind feat. And he's dashing with a license to thrill. I had this idea for a tiefling arcane trickster rogue, might try to multi-class, named Loth. His name is a reference to the Gaelic Irish word for heart. He is given the ability to blend into the background as he does his janitorial and errand running for a prestigious academy of mages and scholars. While he's at it, Loth learns how to master the infernal powers screaming to be unleashed. He can fix or repair almost anything, pick locks and lock doors if need be, deliver mail and documents, help staff and students out, and maybe, just maybe, even take care of some troublemakers. Loth in this iteration prefers to help the rest of the party look good and try to keep out of the spotlight. He might step in to fix a problem or help someone out. Before they realize who he is or what he did, he's gone. On to the next job. Always respect your janitors. I had an idea a while ago for a bard druid multiclass named Bophodes. He was originally designed to be a nature aspect, probably fertility, but he couldn't do anything without his charm, and leveling up would allow him to strengthen his connection with the land, so that hopefully he wouldn't need, his charm. His charm would be 2 walnuts or macadamia nuts tied to a little bitty pouch. If or when he found his charm, he could potentially be a god-level threat, rivaling the nature gods. You guys guessed it, it was a D's nuts joke. Another one I had recently was for a character with no class, no alignment, no story, and maybe average stats. All of that would unfold as the homunculus traveled with the party. I had intended it as an experiment into how we are influenced by the people around us. That's cold and calculated, and I love it. Prince Ingomar Declan Ingram Oswald Tiberius Graves, also known as Tiberius the Broken or just Idiot. It was not always broken, although he spent more of his life broken than not. He was only a boy when tragedy struck. As a boy, Tiberius and his brother were playing in the mouth of a cave near his home near sundown, when he saw a shadow move deeper down in the cave. So the two of them decided to go slay that monster. Remember, Idiot Graves. He found himself face to face with an elder brain dragon and a mind flayer staring right at the two of them. Horrified, his brother started running when the dragon sent out a psionic pulse, stunning him and causing him to fall, killing him. In this moment of true terror, his green draconic ancestry awakened within Tiberius, and he shot a poison spray spell. That's when the elder brain dragon spoke to him, telling him, "Do not be afraid, and to come over here and lie down on this table." The illithids experimented on him for weeks, poking and prodding him over and over again. Eventually, he was let go. Obviously a servant of the elder brain dragon now. The dragon told him to go to the city of Waterdeep and destroy the mad mage's psychic hold on the city, so his elder brain could come in and rule the city. Poor Tiberius. I have 3. For an upcoming game of Wild Beyond the Witchlight, I have in mind a Goblin Ranger Witchlight hand who has been working at the carnival for a couple of years with a bugbear friend, who's being hunted by a Shadowfell bounty hunter who wants to watch a Haragon maid. I've worked with my DM on the whole character, and the watch now plays a big part in the campaign, with the Goblin's bugbear friend being her lost thing. For a Curse of Strahd campaign coming up after the Witchlight one, run by the same DM, I plan on playing a simpler tiefling rogue criminal who wants out of the life of crime. The fun part about playing this is a good friend of mine is hoping to play a fiend-hating paladin, so I get to show his character why tieflings aren't so bad. Now, for any campaign I get to play, I'm really excited to try out a homebrew background I made that's essentially a tavern worker. The character has a lot of depth for such a minor role. She's a half-orc, totem warrior barbarian named, and I hope I don't butcher this, Southwa, who co-runs her father's inn. Her mother was an energetic half-orc tribal warrior who met her father after her tribe was wiped out in a bloody battle, and she took refuge in his hometown, starting a new life with him. She unfortunately died to illness a bit after the death of her daughter, and left her the few remaining trinkets from her life as a tribal warrior, specifically her great axe and totem. Southwa's friend, a goblin bard mercenary named Nilok, is the one to suggest she become an adventurer in the first place, after they take on a kobold thieves and win over them. Southwa's main goal is to see the world beyond her father's inn and make it for herself, and also hopes to live up to her mother's name. Despite her typically aggressive appearance and often intimidating in first impression, she's a pretty well-mannered and lighthearted person who'd rather help than harm. The barbarian aspect comes from her knowledge of bar fights and also genetics from her mother. Besides an axe, she uses a frying pan to fight and cook. I like that one a lot. My newest character is a chaotic neutral drow assassin. She was assigned to kill a member of the party but ended up killing the wrong member, inadvertently saving the party from being robbed blind by a bandit who intended to lead the party into a trap. She ends up joining the party, waiting for the perfect moment to slay her true target. This is an idea in progress so far, so there will be plot holes to fill, but it's on my watch list. But I gained inspiration from the plot of Anastasia, the 1997 animated movie about the daughter of Tsar Nicholas II. Basically, my to-be-determined race came from a royal family that owned a small kingdom that wronged a lich or necromancer, which they then insinuated a revolution to overthrow my family and take the throne. Simple plot. As far as my character knows, the family was murdered by the attackers. But somehow, I made it out. During my escape, I suffered amnesia, wound up in the woods, and was taken in by a family of druids. While my character will be a sorcerer, they have learned to respect the more natural magic rather than the arcane. Now, because I haven't seen the movie, the idea of how they go out into their own gets fuzzy. But I know that I don't want to word for word their story and the movie together. Hopefully, over time, and during an adventure, they begin to have flashbacks of their past life and slowly piece together the tragic events that occurred many years ago before swearing vengeance on the Lich Necromancer, and hopefully reclaim the throne this said villain now sits on. All in all, the character's actual story is provided to the DM to do as they please. But as far as the character is concerned, they were raised by a family of forest folk and are now searching for more to life. Hey everybody, Brian Von VA checking in after the vid. Please make sure to leave a like, subscribe, ring that bell, and of course, if you have a character idea you'd like to share, please put it down in the comments below. We love you all. Please be safe, happy, and healthy, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.